Welcome to Gaming as Formative Assessment. We're going to talk about some of your options that go beyond Kahoot because we know we love it, but there are so many additional options that are going to allow you to get that minute-by-minute, day-by-day assessment of what your students are learning so that we are able to ensure that they are meeting their student learning outcomes. And this information also allows instructors to know whether or not you need to adjust your teaching for the next class or for the remainder of the class. So we're talking about leveling up our concept reviews. A note about formative assessment is that formative assessment is not typically used for a grade. Formative assessment, again, is just to make sure that we're all on the right track, whether we are teaching or whether we are learning. So one thing that we have used for a very long time are just PowerPoint templates. Many of us, even when we were in elementary, middle, high school, or even college, we have all taken part in some sort of Jeopardy game where we've seen it. And most of those were made with PowerPoint templates. You'll find that when you click this link, and you will get access to all of these tools when I provide the URL of this presentation at the end, you're going to find that there are hundreds of ready-made PowerPoint templates that can be customized to use in any type of class that you teach. So when you click on these links, you're going to be taken to different websites. The next one is Kahoot. We love it. I'd be remiss if I didn't explain it to some people because some of us are unfamiliar with this tool. There are lots of ups to Kahoot. First of all, it is a game-based learning platform and it can be shared in any type of classroom. That's what makes Kahoot awesome. The downside to Kahoot is that Kahoot is not exactly welcoming to students who may have learning difficulties. The speed of the game may cause a rise in anxiety for some students. Also, it's easy to cheat because we know that when we use Kahoot, we typically only see as you can see here, on the devices, we see the colors while the question is on the board. So if I know that Linda, who sits in front of me, always provides some really great answers, then I just have to look and see what she's clicking on her device. And I'm going to click the same thing. So that's something to keep in mind about Kahoot. While it is free, it is at a freemium. So there are some tools and other parts of the application that you just will not have access to unless you pay for it. Another tool that I really like is Quizlet. Quizlet is different from Kahoot in that it allows for differentiation because you can provide some follow-up resources. So this is adaptive learning light. So if your student plays Kahoot, and this can be played individually, and they only get 3 out of 10 correctly, then you're able to provide some of those follow-up resources very similarly to a Canvas mastery path, such as you need to go back and review the PowerPoint, or I'm going to send you back to read this article. And that's what Quizlet, can do. So some of the ups to Quizlet is that you do have some of that real-time visualization of the results. So if you give it to your students, what will be shown on the board are how students are progressing, as opposed to Quizlet when the instructor is running the game. Now the downside are that there are limited question types. Another downside to Quizlet as opposed to Kahoot is because students can take this at their own pace, you will not have the ability to review every question as soon as it's given, as opposed to Kahoot, where the instructor is running the game. If we find that half the class got question 2 wrong, we can pause right there and talk about question 2 before we move on to question 3, as opposed to Quizlet, in which we have to wait until the entire class is finished taking the quiz. Again, Quizlet is at a freemium. If you click this money bag, you will be taken to the pricing structure of Quizlet and all the other apps you see on the screen. Quizzes is very similar to Kahoot in that the questions and possible answers are displayed on student devices as opposed to being displayed on the screen. The upside, again, is that Quizzes is student-paced, and you can display student progress for instant feedback. So Quizlet and Quizzes is very alike in that manner. The downside is that because students have to take the quiz at their own pace, that the questions and the answers are scrambled, which is a good thing for instructors, but for students, that lessens the competitive aspect. And again, the review is at the end. So Poll Everywhere has a different type of game built into it. It's really wonderful in that, as opposed to iClicker, Poll Everywhere is free, but you do need a device to use it. It's free to students, but you do need a device to use it. And when you click on this pulsating circle, you will be taken to various games that you can play using Poll Everywhere. Just as a reminder, Poll Everywhere is approved at UNCG. However, we do not have an enterprise license, so if you wish to purchase Poll Everywhere, you can click the money bags to find out how much it costs. Perhaps you can talk to your department chair about buying it for your department. However, all of the features to Poll Everywhere are free if your class size is 40 or less. Wordwall is a newer tool that I discovered. There are some really great features to Wordwall. Let's go ahead and take a look. With Wordwall, you have the ability to pick a template, you can enter your content, and you can print out your activities or play on the screen, which makes this a really good tool for students with disabilities or with learning preferences or learning difficulties. As you can see, there are a lot of really cool templates that are available to students. With Wordwall, with the paid subscription, you get access to all of those games. With the free account, then you get access to less. Blookit is another interesting tool that I encourage you to look at. When you first look at it, yes, it may look a bit juvenile, but students and players and any type of learners really love playing Blookit because it is that true Nintendo Switch type gaming atmosphere in which you are able to choose question sets and select game modes, and you just have to join the game with the game ID. What I really love about Blookit is that you can try it out. You can type in Blookit live games on YouTube and you can try a game just to see what it's like. And what's really cool about Blookit is that you're meeting students where they are. And students have the ability to earn points. They have the ability to upgrade their characters. So this is really going to appeal to our learners who enjoy playing games like Roblox and Minecraft or Fortnite, and being able to upgrade their characters based on the amount of points that they earn to enhance what their avatars look like. The upside, of course, to Blookit is that it's quirky, you know? Some may even call it hokey, but it is fun. What I also like about Blookit is that the difference with these other subscriptions that we often pay for is that they bill you annually, which for some can be an equity issue because we just can't afford it personally or out of pocket. Blookit will bill you monthly, so it doesn't hurt as much to your pocket. The downside again is that there are limited multiple choice questions and the style could appeal to a younger audience, But because we do work with pre-service teachers and HHS, it's a really good tool to showcase, because many of our students are going to go out and educate others, and those others can range from 5 to 105. So it's good for them to know. So just to review, when you go into this, I encourage you to take this gaming quiz so you can make sure that you have learned everything there is about using formative assessment beyond Kahoot. It's really fun. You can see another way to play a game using the applications that you see for this presentation. Finally, just some best practices. I encourage you to review this LibGuide, which is based in educational theory. It is published by the librarians at the University of Toronto, and they just give you some really good best practices when integrating gaming into your classroom. So as always, we are so appreciative for the privilege and the honor of your time. If you'd like to review this presentation, if you'd like to access the links, you can do so by going to go.uncg.edu/beyond Kahoot. If you wish to contact myself or me, you can email me at this address, or for faster service, I encourage you to email hhsitc@uncg.edu. I hear that someone may not have gotten that address for this presentation. Again, it is go.uncg.edu/beyond Kahoot. And with that, thank you so much. If you'd like to know more about these tools, do not hesitate to contact an ITC or just drop into a Tech Tuesday. They are held every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Have a great day.